Hey, everybody. This is another Premier Power Hour podcast, and I'm Billy. This is Ryan Benningfield, our special guest for the day.
Thanks for having me, Billy.
Nice that you could make it. A little late, but we're okay with that. We got plenty of time.
All right.
So what we've been doing here, the point of this is we take folks like yourself that have been with Premier for a while, that have started out in one area and have blossomed into a success within the organization. Little career progression. We want to find out where you came from, how did it happen?
Okay.
So when you started, and I'll preface everything because we've worked together for a while, right? Mm-hmm. We've I'm sure had some very serious things going on, probably conversations that were in which hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of purchase orders are riding in the balance, and deliveries and making customers happy, right?
Absolutely.
Yet I don't think we've ever had a serious conversation.
No, never.
Yeah.
Whether it be in work or out of work,
right.
Never.
Just all fun.
Absolutely. We'll call it that.
So this should be interesting. See how this thing goes.
Let's do it.
All right. So how'd you get a job at Premier?
Like everybody else, you get a job at Premier because you know someone or you're related, right?
Right.
Isn't that how it works?
I think, yeah.
So I was coming out of college, and my stepdad, Paul Coco.
Okay.
He was working for...
Heard of him.
Yeah. Everybody knows him, I think. Can't stand the guy, right? He was working with his buddy, John Gaynor, who owned the box company, right? Him and Ben Blinko at the time. So I was coming out of school, not sure what I wanted to do. So I was going to make a pit stop at this box company until I found something cool to do, right?
Yeah.
And it was just going to be for a couple months, and a couple months has now turned into, 15 years?
15 years, yeah.
So here we are.
What were you doing at the beginning?
So I started out in the warehouse driving a fork truck, and hourly employee. Looking back, I don't remember what I was making, but it was enough to pay for alcohol on the weekends. So that's all I was worried about, right?
All you needed, yeah. Were you at that point when you were in the warehouse and when you were riding the forklifts? Were you still so well dressed?
Absolutely. Dress for the position you want, not the one you're in, right?
Best dressed man in a warehouse.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Fake it till you make it. I saw Blinko walking around, and I said I figured that's where I want to be and how I need to dress.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, and I'm usually in a potato sack, I think.
It was burlap, but yeah.
Well, so you go from there. You put in hard hours. You're basically pulling orders and loading trucks, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens next?
So at that time, Premier was still basically a box company.
Right.
We had just started to get into the what we call industrials, right?
Right.
Bubble wrap, the bags, the other types of packaging. So at that time, we had a couple boxes of bags that sat on the floor, a few rolls of bubble wrap, and like a pallet of tape.
Peanuts. Occasional bag of peanuts.
Yeah, they bust open and cause you more pain than they're worth, right?
Yes.
So we found out that was a selling point for Premier, and so that market started to grow. We didn't have anybody that really specialized in that in the warehouse, so an opportunity came up to be the person that's in charge of receiving that in and making sure that it's getting put in the system properly and inventory's accurate. Units of measure, right?
Very hard. Yeah.
Right. So they asked, "Hey, are you interested in this?" Sure. So moved from an hourly position to a salaried position, and at the time I thought I was rich, right? Because here I am on salary. I'm 22 years old or whatever, and exactly, right? The world's my oyster now, and I've got all this money for it.
Yep.
Which it wasn't that much,
right?
But to me, it was.
In retrospect,
yeah. And from there, other opportunities came up with managing inventory for the entire warehouse, and then managing the warehouse and the personnel in it. And past that, rewind a bit. Joe Cox was back there, and he was a fixture at Premier at that point. He
Certainly.
started when he was 6, I think.
Yes,
and
yes.
you know,
Labor laws
right,
be damned.
right.
Yeah,
John and
right.
Ben found him in a corrugated manger on the Ohio, and they brought him in, and so he'd been here for a while.
The Reeds.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice.
So Joe was showing me quite a bit. Always had heard, the more you learn, the more you earn, or the harder you are to get rid of. So I thought, instead of just doing something for me, teach me. So I would ask Joe questions, and he would teach me things. And Larry Krask at the time, he would teach me things as well. And so one thing led to another, and I ended up as a system support specialist, which was basically like a system administrator. And
Okay.
I don't know anything about software.
Right, right.
But nobody else did either. So it seemed like I did. Just kept moving into different positions as asked, and just flexible to do different things.
Asking a lot of questions, being
Yeah.
available, and a lot of hard work, right?
Yeah, wasn't too bad. I mean, it definitely wasn't working in the salt mines, right?
Enjoyable. Yeah. You had air conditioning for the most part, right?
It's sometimes, not all the time, but yes, for the most part.
Can you still drive a forklift?
Yes, I can.
When's the last time you were on one? Just earlier today, or?
No, it's been a while, probably last year.
Okay.
But
Just helping out.
I still like to keep my skills fresh, just in case I need them.
Understood. What? We talked to Joe a little bit before. He's kind of a that guy in the middle that's taught a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff from here,
Yeah, absolutely.
How does this work in advanced wear? Come on in, close the door, and then
Yeah, I was a little
Get
weirded
them on
out
the
about
phone.
the close the door thing at first, but it ended
It
up
worked
working
out
out.
all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
He's a good dude. You obviously went to college not thinking you'd be part of the packaging industry. What are the skills that you have kind of had to learn from scratch to make it where you're at?
Learned quite a bit about transportation and logistics. Had no background in that coming into it, but learned a ton about that. International shipping.
Yep.
Didn't know anything about that. As far as NAFTA forms or certificates of origin, commercial invoices, all things that were learned at Premier.
Yeah. Shipping is a huge part of what we do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Premier's a corrugated box manufacturer, but we're a distributor.
Right.
So I mean, even the stuff we manufacture goes through distribution in those
Right.
channels. So learned a lot about the logistics and transportation world. Learned a lot about warehousing, optimizing warehouses, setting up warehouses, opening up new buildings. What's the best way to lay those out? The analysis behind that, and
Were you because you were sort of instrumental in this brand new beautiful building we're in right now, right?
Mhm.
And before that, were you prepared for it? Was that was it like, oh hey, we need you to set this up? Yeah.
No, it was a lot of on the job learning, kind of baptism by fire.
Yeah.
But we hired a consulting firm that helped us out initially, and I think they taught myself and some others quite a bit about doing things like that. So we've kind of taken what we learned from them and did with this building and started to use that as the blueprint for buildings that we acquire or open up across the country.
Yeah. And can you say with that opportunity, what can you think of something that back in the day, Premier, we did it this way because we had to, just with the building we were in. What would you say is one of the best improvements we've made, in terms of what you do?
I think one of the biggest was we used to take a warehouse and you might have a 100 or 200,000 square foot warehouse, and it would have 20 locations in it as far as bin locations go, and those
Right.
bin locations would hold 300 or 400 units of product, unique license plates, right? So now what we've done is we've taken those 20 bays or bins that we had, and we broke those down into pallet size lanes, and now it goes from 300 to 30 at 10.
Right.
And so it makes it much more manageable. So it's taken it more from a big macro level down to the micro level. And it's improved our picking, it's improved our storage, and overall it's improved our efficiencies.
Nice. It's constantly improving.
That's right. Continuous improvement, right?
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, don't fact check that, please. You can't post that on Facebook anymore. They take it off.
Do you have anything from your past where you're just like, oh, Ryan, why did I do it that way? What's a regret?
I don't think I have any so far. I mean, I got a tattoo that I can't show you, but I definitely regret that.
That has nothing to do with Premiere. Or does it say Premiere?
It's similar.
It's that.
It was
it's
the
the
old
box.
logo. Didn't know we were changing.
I know. We always change logos. That's no fun.
No regrets, really. Premiere has been filled with opportunities, and I feel like I've taken advantage of all of them. I don't feel like I've really passed on anything that came my way that I said no, and looking back, I said I should have. But yeah, it's been good to grow with the company. When you start out and it's $25 million, and then you look back last year and it was 700 and something million.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I was
it's hard to
floored
believe.
when we were talking about how many people work here. I couldn't believe that. I thought it was just there was about 40 of us or something. I had no idea it was so big.
Yeah,
right.
I
don't talk to anybody anymore, so that helps. BOL or bowl?
BOL.
Yeah, people say bowl, right?
I don't know who does, but
It's kind of a
wrong.
pet peeve. It's a pet peeve of mine. If they
Absolutely.
say, okay,
Absolutely.
you agree?
I'm with you.
Do you have since you're dealing with truckers, do you have like a CB call sign for yourself? Do you have a name?
Yeah, the total package. That's what they call me.
Nice. I think that's great. That's great. I'll have to think of one.
Next
for
time
me.
you're on 71, give me a shout. I'm always cruising.
What kind of advice would you give to someone like myself? Like if I just started, I said this earlier. I wish I had this advice, when I started, but I didn't really have any.
No guidance.
Nothing. No guidance
Yeah.
whatsoever. I sat on Joe's lap for about 7 months, and that was it.
Same.
So what all the new folks that are coming up in the biz, what would you say the most important thing for them to watch out for?
Take advantage of opportunities. If it's out there, pounce on it. I would say be curious. Ask questions, business curiosity. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. You're not saying no or being difficult if you're asking why. Kind of back to the company slogan, right? We ask why.
Mm-hmm.
That's not just an external thing or asking customers, it's internal also. We tell our employees that here, our team members, ask why. A lot of them are on the floor and in the weeds, the ones living it every day. So
if you got an issue with it,
or if you think there's a better way to do it, there's no better level of people to tell you that than the ones that are doing it every day. So I would say, being curious, asking questions.
Kind of a recurring theme we're finding out with this career progression series. So,
Oh, is it?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you all got together and figured out your answers beforehand, which is fine. We're okay with that.
Yeah, it was a collaboration.
Good deal. I know you're a busy man. I'm sure you have 500 emails now that you have to go back to and calls to go back. How many trucks are we just shipping out of here a day?
Locally out of Louisville, we're shipping out anywhere between 1,200 to 2,000 pallets, depending on the time of year.
Okay.
So I would say anywhere from 30 to 60 truckloads going out every day.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. When you figure up how many flat cartons are on a truck, yeah, it is. So, you're talking about tens of thousands, so it adds up.
Good deal. I'm, as always, impressed by what you do.
Well, I'm nothing without the people that help me.
Yeah,
So-
same here. Well, it was a nice time. You don't have anything for me, do you?
No, No, I can't think of anything right offhand appropriate for here, but
Right,
I'll be
right.
sure to follow up offline.
Yeah, send me a text.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
A
Nice.
message.
Thanks. It was good talking to you.
You as well.
Appreciate it, Ryan. This is Billy Watkins and Ryan Benningfield. Thanks for joining us today. Until next time.